The evening as we have Chris Saenz taking on Avery Brooks. Chris Saenz making his way to the cage, looking for his first mixed martial arts victory here tonight. His last fight was a first round submission, lost to Dima Germasov back in May of 2018, so he took a solid year and a half off, looking to bounce back.
Another Brazilian top team. That's who it was. Avery Brooks when Lori Ivy was fighting. I knew they had an Avery, very talented grappler. A lot of submission grappling. You mentioned that.
Chris Saenz making his first Fury Fighting Championship appearance. His last fight was in January. I made a mistake and said it was May of 2018. It's actually January was his last fight. Probably went back to the drawing board, sharpened up on some things. Looking to bounce back and get his first mixed martial arts victory here tonight against the double tough Avery Brooks. There we see him just outside the door of the cage, getting the final touches from his coaches and last checkup by the referee. Once again, we want to thank everybody on Fight TV for joining us here in the action. Eric Garcia and Garcia Promotions presenting to you Fury Fighting Championship 38. And as we see, Chris Saenz ready for action.
He got the war hair. He's ready to go, man. Hey, the cornrows let you know you're not here to fuck around. You're here to fight.
Here to throw down, baby.
Yeah.
Avery Brooks.
There we see Avery Brooks making his way to the cage, looking for his second straight mixed martial arts victory. 5'10", 27 years of age. He went 4-0 as an amateur. His last fight was a first round submission victory over Larry Garcia in June of 2017 at Fury Fighting Championship 17. Since then, he's had 2 canceled fights. Tried to fight again in 2017 and 2018. And that's why there was such a long layoff since his last fight.
But Avery Brooks is, catch and follow him there on the Submission Pro side of things. I know he did a couple Submission Pro hunters, and I believe he's just been actively competing in jiu-jitsu tournaments. You know, those are always good to keep you busy. I mean, he just had 2 fights canceled. That's got to be frustrating on his end, you know. How much was he training for them already, and then they cancel? Probably got frustrated, went just to compete in grappling. You know you're going to compete. You sign up for the tournament, you pay, you're going to compete. You never have to worry about anybody falling out.
You have to wonder the cage rust for Avery Brooks. And as you said, he's been staying active with grappling competitions, but there's nothing like being under the bright lights. And contrary to what some people say that cage rust doesn't exist, and that comes from prideful fighters, but it does.
I have heard that as well, but I think that comes from a lot of guys that are way higher level than where we're at now.
And also, they have to sell themselves that.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
have to. Especially if they're currently competing, you have to convince yourself that.
Well,
but your body, it goes by repetition. If you haven't gotten the reps in for 2 long years, it's going to take you a second to make that adjustment.
Absolutely.
Not to say that you can't be successful after a long layoff, not by any stretch, but it is going to take you a second just to readapt to what used to be familiar territory.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, I've heard that from guys at a really higher level. One guy that I used to train with when I was in San Diego, Dominic Cruz, said that, as he comes off a 3-year layoff when he beats TJ Wahlberger, TJ Dillashaw, I'm sorry. But again, world champion level, Avery Brooks is coming to his second fight, been out for 2 years. Be interesting to see how he adjusts to this.
He weighed in at 156.4 pounds. Tonight, he seeks his first victory as a professional. Introducing Cobra, Chris Saenz. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, he weighed in at 160.6 pounds. Representing Brazilian top team San Antonio, he holds a professional record of 1 victory, no defeats. Introducing Avery Brooks.
Man, Avery
Definitely got the home
Brooks.
crowd here.
Avery Brooks looks like $1,000,000.
Yeah, I want to know when they took that picture of him on his poster was, because you don't have a mustache today. That's probably one of the old fights that got canceled. They just reused that poster. Like
Avery Brooks.
Just use that same poster. Forget the mustache.
Chris Saenz, and this fight is officially underway.
Avery Brooks, the hometown crowd behind him, Brazilian top team. Those guys always show up big here in San Antonio.
Oh, Avery Brooks, both of them are opting to
dance around a little bit.
All right, just
another
hey,
3-minute round.
It's been 2 years, you know.
Yeah, you get his feet under him a little bit.
Both fighters are fighting out of the southpaw position. Avery Brooks looking to close the gap, looking for his openings.
I think Avery's trying to set up a takedown here.
Both fighters starting the fight cautious, trying to find that range. About 30 seconds in this fight so far, and both fighters are still looking to find that comfort zone.
Yeah. Chris Saenz got a kind of a weird stance. He's almost standing almost sideways, like in like a Taekwondo kind of stance, rather than just like a traditional Muay Thai or boxing stance. There he goes with his first lead leg kick. I wonder if he has kind of a similar martial arts background than some of the other guys we've seen tonight.
Saenz looking for his first mixed martial arts victory here tonight. Comparative to Brooks, looking for his second. Brooks, a very successful amateur mixed martial arts fighter. Won all 4 of his amateur bouts. Closing the gap, just trying to find that range.
Ooh, nice jab there from Saenz. But it looks like Brooks is pressing him against the cage. I think he's ready to make a big shot, big press against the cage. Looks like Brooks is ready to get him in the ground, I think. I think that's where he'll find the success.
Both fighters now just looking for their opening.
He's definitely putting pressure on Saenz. You can almost feel the pressure. Saenz kind of bouncing, running around back off the cage. Get the back off the cage.
There it is.
The double.
Trying to time that takedown. He gets it in perfectly. Big slam there by Avery Brooks.
Nice.
He timed that takedown perfectly. Went right under the hands of Saenz. Got the big lift and enjoying top position now. Now business is picked up. Let's see if Brooks can capitalize. Saenz was trying to squeeze the head of Brooks to no avail. And Brooks, I mean, just look at the physical difference. You say you can't judge a book by its cover. We've seen plenty of times of, what was Anthony Joshua getting knocked out by the physically superior looking fighter.
Yeah.
But man, just Avery Brooks just looks like $1,000,000 out there.
Yeah.
Just physically imposing his will on Saenz.
The fighting didn't work out for Avery Brooks. He can always model for like the Gap or something. He's got like an 8-pack. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see that Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz scenario here.
There he goes. The end of the round ends with Avery Brooks raining down punches on the double tough Chris Saenz.
Yeah, I think that was a fight that nobody expected to end the way it did with Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz.
And we're going to see if that was a legit, you know, we're going to see who the true champ is when they have that rematch.
Yeah.
Hey, every fighter has a puncher's chance, and as we were talking earlier,
yeah, we said that earlier. Yeah,
sloppy punches will still knock you out.
If it lands, that's all it takes. One. Just like you compared to, you can't sloppy out grapple somebody. You know, I mean, your grappling has to be pretty sharp, pretty good.
And Avery Brooks, obviously taking his time after the 2-year layoff. Let's hope that in the second round that he's got his feet under him and that he opens up a little bit more aggressive in the second round. If I had to predict, I feel that Avery Brooks just feels a little bit more comfortable now. First round back after a 2-year layoff is probably going to come out second round a little bit at a faster pace.
It already looks like he is. Both of them are bouncing a little more on their feet than they were in the first round.
Yeah, they need that first round to get a little bit warmed up. Going in again for the leg. See if he can get another big lift, and he does. And he drops him down aggressively. Avery Brooks, and then steps over for the mount.
Right away, he got his leg figure forward there as well.
Yeah, Avery Brooks crossing the feet there, enjoying mount position, walking his opponent up to his side, it looks like, turning him to the middle to avoid any possible wall walk by Saenz. And let's see if Brooks can rain down some punches and earn the stoppage. He's looking to create that space.
He's pummeling him there. Referee's taking a look at it. None of those landed really clean, but
and Saenz
can't let him take too many of those. I mean,
playing with
not really
fire
doing
now,
anything.
turning his back. Figure 4 around the body. Just a complete dominant position by Brooks.
Yeah.
Brooks
The
can do
referee's
it.
taking a look at it. Referee's talking to him, letting him know he's not going to let this continue. He's in a very dominant position.
And Brooks
still
can do
guys
whatever
get
he
out of
wants
it,
here.
yeah.
And
Nice,
Avery
good stoppage.
Brooks wins his second mixed martial arts fight. Successful comeback.
Yep. Nice,
Round and pound
nice.
stoppage by back take.
Yeah, and I think that was a good stoppage by the referee. He was talking to him and kind of letting him know if he didn't improve his position, that he's going to stop it, and he stopped it. Avery Brooks a little bit too much for Mr. Saenz there, but good job. Good job, both guys.
Yeah, our 8th stoppage of the night here in this action-packed Fury Fighting Championship. Live to you in San Antonio, Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Frank Colazzo calls for a stop to the action. 1 minute, 21 seconds in round number 2. Declaring their winner by TKO, Avery Brooks.
And Avery Brooks improves to 2-0 as a pro, 6-0 overall in his mixed martial arts career. Came back from a 2-year layoff, scored a big victory here tonight over Chris Saenz. And we look forward to seeing more of Mr. Avery Brooks in future Fury Fighting Championships.